Today we're going to talk about FM4 in Bitwig, the device. If you've ever heard of FM8 or Citrus, they are also the same basic concept as FM4. So FM8 basically stands for like a frequency modulator, and then it has 8 oscillators. FM4 is a frequency modulator with only 4 oscillators, and then Citrus has 8 or something, and yeah. So FM is when you take any sort of like waveform, usually like a basic waveform, and then you modulate it by another waveform. But you're modulating the timbre of its waveform by the other waveform, and the way it will modulate its timbre is based on the operators, or the modulators, pitch and timbre and amplitude. So depending on that wave's information, it will change the other wave's information, essentially. So in FM4 on the left, we have our 4 oscillators here. One's at like pitch 1, then pitch 2, and then 8 and 10. I think these stand for octaves, though I'm not entirely sure. And then over here in the middle, we have our matrix. So essentially, if I put up this one here, it's going to change the sound, and then there's a noise oscillator over here, like the noise oscillator that's going to affect, say, like the first oscillator, the second oscillator, such like that. And then we can have the second oscillator, so this one, affect the first oscillator, or we can have the first oscillator affect itself, or we can have it affect the other 4 oscillators. And that's sort of how it works. So over here on the right, we have an output volume, and now we have a sine wave. Because we just have the first one playing, we can change the pitch. It's just a basic sine wave. And then we have some panning and gain options and all that stuff as usual. Internal amplitude, envelope, and some filter options over here is, again, quite usual. So what we can do is I can take this first oscillator and I'll modulate the first oscillator with it. Then eventually it just becomes noise. First oscillator, and modulate it with the second one. That was quite different, that pitch difference, but if I were to bring down the pitch back to 1, how about 0? So you can see there's kind of issues if it's too low. And you can see like how the wave shape, like if you look at the timbre, like as in the amplitude of this wave, we can see that it is being actually changed. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the side there showing off what's happening. Okay. So say we go ahead and take this first oscillator, pump this up. We can then modulate the mod instead, acting as like a in-between point. As you can see. The intention with like this is that you can make like analog sounding, like those cool old school analog sounding basses, or you can do more advanced things with it. So like I'm going kind of like the weirder direction with it, and then I'm going to try to make a pluck. So I guess I'll just take this in the ADSR and map it to the cutoff. And essentially, after a little bit of work and some post-processing, I did a separate sub. and then original sound. And then I added like a whole bunch of stuff here. So we improved our sound. And it's like basically ready to be used. At this point, we can check it in the spectrum. It's quite an interesting tone. You basically have a matrix, and then you have the 4 oscillators, and then like some noise component to it, and then you basically just modulate things in the matrix. As far as how the matrix is mapped, there's a few things that aren't making sense to me, but I mean, just screw around and you'll find things fairly fast, like things that you could do, things that you could not do. If you're interested in making dubstep in Bitwig and you don't have like Serum or something, and you don't want to pay the $10 a month for it, I would highly recommend that FM is going to be basically the key to all your bass sounds, because like I think all of the early dubstep was done like with FM. So if you want to get that dubstep sound, you can do basically everything with the FM and the post processing. So yep, that's it. Thanks for watching.